Welcome class. In this video we're going to discuss factoring a little bit more, just to give you some extra review on it in case the time in class wasn't good enough. And we're going to look at where the leading coefficient is 1 and then where it's not 1 also. Okay, so in the case where it is 1, we'll have something that looks like t squared minus 5t plus 4. So something like this. So let's review our steps again. So the first thing is we want to multiply a times c. So a in this case is 1, c is 4. So 1 times 4 is 4. Now we want to list the factors of 4. So I have 1 and 4, and then 2 and 2. So now I want a pair, so either 1 or 4 or 2 and 2, that can add or subtract in some combination to give me my middle number. My middle number is 5, so I want to use either 1 or 4 or 2 and 2 to be able to get to 5 using addition or subtraction. And I can do that using 1 and 4. And in this case, 1 needs to be negative and 4 needs to be negative, because negative 1 plus negative 4 gives me negative 5. Okay, so these are the numbers that I'm going to use. So now let's rewrite my expression here, my trinomial. So t squared minus t minus 4t plus 4. So this shows the rewritten trinomial. And now it's no longer a trinomial because it has 4 terms. Alright, so now we're going to group together the first and last 2 terms, making sure to leave a plus sign in the middle. A lot of students forget to leave that plus sign in the middle, but it's really important that you keep that plus sign in the middle, because right now this is an addition expression, not a multiplication expression. Okay, so now at this point we want to factor out our common terms. So in t squared and minus t, I have a t in common. So to figure out what goes inside your parentheses, we're going to divide. T squared divided by t is t. T divided by t is 1. So I have a t minus 1 inside my parentheses. And then I have here a negative 4t plus 4. So this is a situation that a lot of students have trouble with and fail to realize a lot of the time. So I have a t minus 1 here. If I were to pull out a 4 here, which is what a lot of people think that you should pull out, you would come out with a negative t plus 1 inside the parentheses, which is not the same as this. You want this minus 1 to match. So to make this minus 1 match, we want to pull out a negative here. So I'm going to pull out a negative 4. That will leave me with a t minus 1 on the inside, because negative 4t divided by negative 4 is t. 4 divided by negative 4 is negative 1. And now my t minus 1's match, so that's my check that I have factored correctly. So now I can pull out a t minus 1. And what you're left with, this t and this negative 4, is your remaining factor. So this t squared minus 5t plus 4 factors as t minus 1 and t minus 4. Okay, so that one is good to go and finished. And I'm going to, well, let me go ahead and put it on a different screen so that way it won't get messy here. Alright, so let's look at our next one. This time it's going to have not 1 as the leading coefficient. Alright, so then now our next one is negative 10x squared plus 9x plus 9. So negative 10x squared plus 9x plus 9. Alright, so we're going to do the same process, but it's a little more involved because my leading coefficient's not a 1 this time. So, but it's the same process. So my a times c is going to be negative 90. Now with my negative 90, the negative doesn't really matter. It will come into play whenever we get down here, but for most intents and purposes you can ignore it for right now. So now I want factors of 90. So this one has quite a few more factors, and you could have situations like this where you have more than one factor. More than one pair, I should say. So 3 and 30, 4 doesn't work, 5 and 18, 6 and 15, 8, 9 and 10 works. Okay, and that's all of them. Alright, so now we want a pair of these that can add or subtract in some combination to give us my middle term, which is 9. Okay, so if you go through all of these, only one of them, sometimes you'll have multiple pairs that work and you have to try and see which one works. But in this case, I only have one pair that works, which is 6 and 15. And the way we get 9 is 15 and negative 6. So I'm going to rewrite my expression using that. So negative 6x plus 15x plus 9. So now I'm going to group together my first and last terms, making sure to leave a plus sign in the middle. Okay, so now here I have a negative in common. I also have a negative 2 in common, and I can pull out an x also. Alright, so to figure out what goes inside parentheses, we're going to divide. So negative 10x squared divided by negative 2x is going to be positive 5x. And then negative 6 divided by negative 2x is going to be a positive 3. Alright, going over here now, between 15x and 9, they have in common a 3. And 15x divided by 3 is 5x. And 9 divided by 3 is 3. And notice that my 5x plus 3 and 5x plus 3 are the same. So that means that we have done this correctly. So I'm going to rewrite that as 5x plus 3. By pulling the 5x plus 3 out of the expression, I'm factoring it out, and I'm left with a negative 2x and a plus 3. So these are my two factors, and this is my answer. Okay, so there's also plenty of good videos online that go over factoring, and hopefully between this and the other resources you have at your disposal, this will be a piece of cake. All right.